There are three forms of life on Earth: eukaryotes, which include humans and all plant and animal life, and bacteria, which we're all familiar with. However, the third, archaea, are another form of single-celled organisms, and scientists just made a wild discovery.
Hey everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David. I've been searching the interzones for some more science, space and tech news to share with you, and I came across this over at Science Alert. This should be interesting. Yes, third form of life makes energy in remarkable ways, scientists discover. That is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Let's find out what's going on here. As the world turns to green hydrogen and other renewable energy sources, scientists have discovered that archaea, the third form of life after bacteria and eukaryotes. See, I'm not a scientist, I can't even pronounce it. Eukaryotes, I believe, are us, animals and birds and all that sort of stuff. Eukaryotes have been making energy using hydrogen gas and ultra-minimal enzymes for billions of years. Now, specifically, the international team of researchers discovered that at least 9 phyla of archaea, a domain of single-celled organisms lacking internal membrane-bound structures, produce hydrogen gas using enzymes thought to only exist in the other two forms of life. That's really interesting. And as I say, I'll leave the links to the main article below the video so you can pop in, check out the embedded links, go for a bit of a deeper dive if you want beyond the main article. It makes for a very interesting read, believe me. Now, this is interesting because if you're looking at archaea, I wonder if there are any astrobiologists out there. Do you think that this form of life could exist on a moon of, say, Jupiter or Saturn, shall we say? And could they be harnessed as a form of energy for extracting hydrogen for future colonization purposes? Interesting thought. Love to hear your ideas on that. Now, archaea, they realise, not only have the smallest hydrogen-using enzymes compared to bacteria and eukaryotes, but their enzymes for consuming and producing hydrogen are also the most complex characterised so far. Now, small and mighty, these enzymes have seemingly allowed archaea to survive and thrive in some of Earth's most hostile environments where little to no oxygen is found. There you go, could be. Yeah, very interesting indeed. Humans have only recently begun to think about using hydrogen as a source of energy, but archaea have been doing it for 1 billion years, says Pok Man Lung, a microbiologist at Monash University in Australia who co-led the study. Go Australia. Yes, fantastic. If you haven't noticed by my accent, that's where I come from. Biotechnologists now have the opportunity to take inspiration from these archaea to produce hydrogen industrially. Yeah. So, as I said before, do you think it's possible that we could use it if we found these creatures on, a moon of Saturn or Jupiter, that we could, harvest this hydrogen? Amazing. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe and is used globally to make fertilizers and other chemicals, treat metals, process foods, and refine fuels. Now, there's a little video here. Scientists discover third form of life can produce hydrogen in world first. Let's check out this little video. It's very interesting. And we will carry on the conversation when we come out the other side.
There are three forms of life on Earth: eukaryotes, which include humans and all plant and animal life, and bacteria, which we're all familiar with. However, the third, archaea, are another form of single-celled organisms, and scientists just made a wild discovery involving them. Experts found 9 phyla of these organisms to have produced hydrogen gas enzymes. What's more, they found evidence that they've been doing so for billions of years. One of the study's lead authors had this to say about it: humans have only recently begun to think about using hydrogen as a source of energy, but archaea have been doing it for 1 billion years. Adding that biotechnologists now have the opportunity to take inspiration from from these archaea to produce hydrogen industrially. This type of process has been seen in other life forms before. However, it was only relatively recently discovered 8 years ago. Now it has been discovered in archaea, a type of life form known for living in extreme environments, like hot springs, around volcanoes, and in deep-sea vents. The researchers say this discovery could not only be useful industrially, it could also help us understand how all eukaryotes, including humans, came to be in the first place.
Well, that was intensely interesting. I love little videos like that, giving you a bit more context and background. I think it's fascinating. Loved it. Absolutely love it. I said I'm not a scientist myself. I just love all science, sharing science stories. Love to, get feedback from people who are professionals in whatever area it's in, whether it's, aerospace engineering, materials science, marine biology, archaeology, paleontology. I'm just a student of all sciences, and I love it. I just think all science is really cool. But hydrogen's future lies in energy storage and steel making, which could be produced with zero emissions if renewable energy is used to convert materials such as water into hydrogen gas. Yeah, but what is the process? That's my only issue with renewable energy. It's okay to produce hydrogen gas from water, but what's the process? Is it environmentally friendly? We see this with electric vehicles. We have an electric vehicle. Isn't it fantastic? I'm driving an electric vehicle. Isn't it great for the environment? Yeah, great. But how do you charge it? Is it with a coal-fired power station? You are aware that to make get the rare earth metals to make the batteries, from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the minerals are mined, you're talking about, poor little villages that are exploited by the warlords over there, and using rape as a weapon of war to keep the female villagers in line, so you can get the cobalt and all that sort of those rare earth minerals that we're looking for, to take them to China so they can make electric vehicles in a factory that's 300 million more tons of coal to fire the power stations to make electric vehicles in order to get them over to the West, so people in the West can drive around with a Black Lives Matter sticker on the back, being morally superior. So they're the things we've got to sort of look at. And if this is a more natural process with these little critters, be interesting to see if we could actually harvest it and from that way and make it environmentally friendly that way. It's interesting. Microorganisms produce and release hydrogen gas, or H2, for entirely different purposes, mainly to dispose of excess electrons produced during fermentation, a process whereby organisms extract energy from carbohydrates, such as sugars, without oxygen. Now, enzymes used for consuming and producing H2 are called hydrogenases, and they were first comprehensively surveyed across the tree of life only 8 years ago. That's interesting. 8 years is not a long time. When you're an old man like me, it ain't a long time, I can tell you that much. And in the terms of scientific research and discovery, 8 years is nothing. When you compare it to some of the other scientific research and discoveries that have taken hundreds of years. It's fascinating. Since then, the number of known microbial species has exploded, particularly archaea, which hide out in extreme environments such as hot springs, volcanoes, and deep sea vents. That's what I'm referring to. So, if we've got some of these moons of Jupiter and Saturn that have volcanoes on them, we know they're volcanically active, could they exist there? Because it was only a few years ago that we didn't think that life could exist in these extreme environments like hot springs, volcanoes, and deep sea vents. Yeah, now we know they can. Wow, I wonder if we could, exploit them, so to speak, to get this hydrogen gas as a fuel source. However, most archaea are known only from their chunks of their genetic code found in these environments, and many haven't been cultured in the lab because it's very difficult to do so. Oh, okay. So we've got to work on our technique for culturing them. Oh, I see. So Monash University microbiologist Chris Greening and colleagues searched for the gene encoding part of one type of hydrogenase, a fast-acting Fifi. Yes. Knew someone called Fifi once. Yeah. Quite reasonably priced too, she was. Hydrogenases in more than 2,300 archaeal species clustered listed in a global database. Then they asked Google's AlphaFord 2 with predicting the task. Google's AlphaFord 2 was predicting the structure of the encoded enzymes and expressed those enzymes in E. coli bacteria to check those genes were actually functional and produced hydrogenases capable of catalyzing hydrogen reactions in their surrogate host. Now, our findings bring us a step closer to understanding how this crucial process gave rise to all eukaryotes, including humans, Lung says. Now, eukaryotes are organisms whose cells contain a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles, such as mitochondria and other useful cellular factories. Now, all eukaryotes are thought to have emerged from the union of an anaerobic archaea and a bacterium it gobbled up billions of years ago. A second much later, endosymbiosis then gave rise to the ancestor of plants with chloroplasts. Fascinating. So this is where all these cross disciplines, you've got a microbiologist, looking at plant biology. Then you can, try and relate this to astrobiology, volcanism, on astrovolcanism with volcanoes on other planets, earth-based volcanism, trying to figure out the differences between an Earth-based volcano and one around a moon in the solar system, and what how different the life forms could be. It's just absolutely fascinating to me. Greening, Lung, and their colleagues found the genetic instructions for Fifi hydrogenases in 9 archaeal phyla and confirmed they are indeed active in these microorganisms, making it 3 from 3 domains of life that use these kinds of enzymes to make hydrogen. I don't know about you, but I make a lot of methane, especially on a Saturday night. Yes, I'm not saying a word. Excuse me. Got a caffeinate. But unlike bacteria and eukaryotes, further analysis showed that archaea assemble remarkable hybrid complexes for their hydrogen production needs, fusing 2 types of hydrogenases together. These findings reveal a new metabolic adaptations of archaea, streamlined H2 catalysts for biotechnological development, and surprisingly intertwined evolutionary history between 2 major H2 metabolizing enzymes. I can't even speak today, the team writes in their paper. Yes, good on me. My mouth is operating on half a Biden today.
Oh, bitch, use your words!
Yes, so there's the link again to the main article below the video. You can pop in and check out, the embedded links, as I said, as I always say. There's the paper, and, there's Cell, where the research has been published, yes. Many of the catalogued archaic genomes analysed in this study are, however, incomplete, and who knows how many more species are yet to be discovered. It's more than likely that archaea harbour other ingenious ways of making energy that we are yet to find. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I just find that quite, as I say, I find it quite, incredible that one day we can harvest the little waste gases from these little critters. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic. I said, especially for future space exploration and on Earth here too. Why, if it doesn't harm them, why can't we harvest them as long as it's an environmentally friendly process? We had similar things in the state of Tasmania in Australia, where there was these companies that kept winning government contracts to extract rare earth metals. I was laughing fit to kill myself because it's great for the environment, and yet they kept encroaching on national parks, and the amount of poison they were putting into the ecosystem to get these rare earth metals to save the environment was just, it was one of those things that made you laugh, but it wasn't funny. It just fascinates me. I'm hoping the opposite's true of this, and we can, do this in an environmentally friendly manner. I'm not a climate change agree. If you want to call me a climate change denier, man-made climate change denier, go ahead. I don't care. I really don't. Climate change has been a part of the planet since forever. I mean, Antarctica was once tropical, I believe. But, come on. We're not going to get zero emissions by 2030. It's a damn joke. And we can't swap technology over instantaneously. I mean, look what happens. get rid of the coal-fired power stations because we're all going to die. I've made videos on the fact that we've been going to die for. I remember growing up and we were going to be freezing to death because it was an ice age. Then it was the bloody, what do you call it, the ozone layer. Unless we had 7 billion sunblock on, we're all going to die. Then it was global warming and we're all going to drown because the ice caps were going to melt. And now it's climate change. Oh, for God's sake, come on. 25 years after, 32 years now after Severin Suzuki made her a little speech in the United Nations about how we're all going to drop dead. That's where Greta Thunberg got it from. She's not original. We're still here. We're all supposed to be dead by 2000. As I said, come on. Now, that doesn't mean I want the whole planet polluted. Clean air, clean water, it's all great. I love it. I want the fish to be safe. I want humans to be safe. I don't want ecosystems dying. That's insane. But I'm not going to go for this Greta Thunberg, everyone's going to die in the next 5 minutes. It's just completely ridiculous as far as I'm concerned, And going to electric vehicles, no. If we are going to have electric vehicles, let's make them environmentally friendly to construct. Yes, make them environmentally friendly to construct, but hybrid vehicles at the moment, we don't even have the infrastructure. Go for a hybrid vehicle, and instead of having smog all over your cities, drive your little electric engine car around the cities and use your petrol engine for the vast distances on, highways, where we haven't got the infrastructure so much. I mean, look at Australia. We've got something called, Google this, the Nullarbor Plain. There's a highway that goes to like the longest stretch of road on the planet or something. It's like, 1,000 kilometres, 1,500 kilometres, straight down the road in the middle of nowhere. Where's the charging station? I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way, It's just completely nuts. And that's why I think a hybrid vehicles would be much better, until we get to electric vehicles that are practical. The charging stations freeze in the United States and you've got to, in Chicago in the winter, and you've got a parking lot full of Teslas. It's completely insane. No one can move. It's nuts to me. Get the technology right. Same as coal-fired power stations. Don't just take them just about all off the grid like they've done here in Australia, putting up wind and solar, and the next thing everyone's having brownouts and their electricity bills are through the roof. What are they doing now? Oh, we better put the coal-fired power stations back online. You stupid political dickheads. Really and truly. All you had to do was take the oldest one offline, the one that was ready at the end of its life, replace it with solar and wind. Leave the other 5 up there or whatever the case is, And as you improve the technology and it gets better, you take another one down. So eventually you can have all renewable energy, but you can't just go and switch it off. It's nuts. I would love to see these little archaea be able to help us get some, really good, efficient, energy that is environmentally friendly. But again, man-made climate change, fascinating. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, take care, and as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And as I also always say,
Fascinating.